It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your Thursday afternoon Alabama forecast. It's December the 11th, and we start off with a picture from sunrise this morning. This is from Joey Amberson in Oxmoor Valley. This is Birmingham area here. Beautiful colors there with the sunrise, so just love to get those pictures from our sky watchers. And you can see that there were some cloud cover this morning. There's been some cloud cover in spots moving through, but mostly high clouds, and most of the state has stayed sunny throughout the day. Just a few clouds moving through Tennessee Valley right now. Places like Demopolis, Montgomery, seeing a few around as well down towards Dothan, but generally good bit of sunshine. A little bit cooler than yesterday, but still overall pretty nice day out there. Looking at our Russellville sky cam, looking pretty beautiful here as the sun's getting low in the sky when the color's starting to pop there near the horizon. It's 51 degrees there. Got that dry air in place with the dew points in the 20s. The winds are not as gusty as they were this time yesterday, especially in the northern part of the state. We're seeing just a fairly calm winds, occasionally gusting around 10 miles per hour. In Fairview, cool looking clouds there as well, kind of feathery looking. It's 49 degrees there, so got temperatures in the upper 40s in the northern part of the state primarily. Then as we move to the south, looks pretty nice there in downtown Birmingham, looking back towards Red Mountain from the Region Center, 53 degrees there in the Magic City. And Bald Rock, beautiful view as is typical, 50 degrees there, some high clouds around. And again, even at the higher elevation, winds are relatively calm at this point. Moving further to the south to the capital city in Montgomery, it's 55 degrees there, so we're approaching 60 as we move further to the south. And then as we get down into the southern part of the state, hey, there we are, 61 degrees in Dozier. So again, it's in the South Alabama. We've hit 60s in spots, and that's been pretty nice to see. Fairhope's close, 57 degrees there. Again, you can see the flag is just kind of laying there, not moving like it was yesterday for sure. The bay looks nice and calm out there. And finally, as we take a look at the Gulf, from Gulf Shores, it's 57 degrees there and looks beautiful. It's a nice afternoon to kind of walk along the beach for sure. Okay, so our temperatures right now, again, we've gotten into generally the 50s and some 60s, still 48 in Huntsville, so still a few cooler pockets up there, but it's 55 in Tuscaloosa, 56 in Alexander City. Troy's sitting at 57. Dothan is at 60. Looks like Chatham's at 60 right now as well. So, hey, it's been still not too bad in the southern part of the state, even though maybe not quite as warm as we got yesterday. Forecast lows tonight we'll expect to be cold again or chilly again, down around 31 degrees in Gadsden. So we have a few places in the northern part of the state that'll get below freezing. Most places staying above freezing though, 37 degrees in Thomasville, 44 in Mobile. Forecast highs for tomorrow. We expect to warm up a little bit again, and it looks like tomorrow and Saturday will be a little bit warmer before the big cool down's coming, the big cold down. 65 degrees in Eufaula. Could get up to 71 degrees in Geneva tomorrow. So we have a few spots that could get in those low 70s, but still relatively cool further towards the north. So let's take a look at our Futurecast here. So again, there won't be much to look at for the next day or two from a precipitation perspective. We will see some clouds starting to move in as we get into Friday afternoon. Now, model's picking up on a few specks, a shower or two Friday afternoon. That would be very remote possibility at this point. We're not going to have a lot of moisture in place, and so vast majority of states are just going to see an increase in cloud cover. You can see the temperatures still, again, fairly nice out there with temperatures in the 60s in the southern part of the state. So we get a little kind of a first little front that moves through Friday, sort of stalls out in the southern part of the state. And then as we get into Saturday, things get ready for the Arctic front to move through on Sunday. But again, Saturday looks pretty nice. Good bit of sunshine out there. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s, again approaching 70 in the southeastern corner of the state. Then as we get into Sunday, that's when the big front starts moving through here. You see those temperatures in the 20s. It's early Sunday morning. Temperatures are already in the 20s moving the front as the front moves down towards the south. We still have temperatures in the 40s and 50s further towards the south. And again, there could be a shower or two in a few spots as we get into Saturday night into Sunday morning. Could even see, a sleet pellet potentially coming out of a cloud in the northern part of the state as this moves through Sunday, but nothing that's going to cause any sort of issues or anything like that. Just be kind of fun to look at if you see it. But the main thing is just going to be the temperatures as we move into Sunday into Monday. You can see there's teens there Monday morning, and we'll kind of talk about the temperatures in more depth here in a second. Before that, though, it's Drought Monitor Day. It's Thursday, and we've actually seen an improvement in the drought conditions. This is last week. You see we still have extreme drought in the southeastern corner of the state, but watch this. When we move to this week, it's gone. We now have just severe drought and moderate drought in the southeastern portion of the state. So again, there's still drought conditions, but it's good to see us take it down at quite a notch in the southern part of the state. Saw a little bit of reduction further to the west as well, but you still have that little area of extreme drought there near Demopolis and Thomasville. And things have gotten a little bit drier in the northern part of the state. We've seen more rain in the south lately than we have in the north. So that's kind of why you see that trend there. Unfortunately, the rainfall outlook is looking pretty dry for the next week. So any little rain chance that we get through Wednesday will be very, very minimal. We don't expect hardly any sort of accumulations with this. So again, it's going to be a fairly dry pattern here for the next week. Dry and cold though, for sure. So this is take a look. We're just kind of sampling Huntsville at this point because we're looking at kind of the coldest part of the state for this system coming up, or will get really cold. So this is looking at forecast lows versus records for the next week or so. So you can see as we get into Sunday and Monday, our forecast lows, Monday morning down to around 12 degrees. So we'll be well down into the teens. And even on Sunday, the lows really are going to be during the afternoon down in the 20s. And so, that's kind of what you're seeing here. And then you see the records though on those days are in the single digits. So despite how cold we will be getting, we're not really going to get too close to any sort of records. It's not looking like at this point. Again, this is just Huntsville. There may be a few other spots across the state that might get closer, but this is very, very cold, but not necessarily record-breaking cold, at least in Huntsville at this point. But pretty cool to kind of see there. If we'd have seen this displaced just a few days, we might have gotten a little bit closer there, broken something for later on in the week. All right, so the wind chill is going to be a factor as we get into Sunday into Monday with this. So it's going to be very cold, but the wind's also going to be enough to produce a little bit of a wind chill here. So looking at the forecast wind chill, this is starting Sunday at midnight, so early Sunday morning. You see 30s wind chills moving into the northern part of the state. As we get into Sunday afternoon, it's already feeling like teens in North Alabama. Feels like 20s and 30s kind of in the central part of the state, but it still feels like 56 degrees down at the coast. So there's going to be a big gradient of temperature and wind chill over the course of the day on Sunday as this Arctic front moves from north to south. As we get into later Sunday evening, we have single digit wind chill. So that's going to be when it's really cold, and you certainly don't want to be outside in that. And then the wind chills will feel like 20s further towards the south and all the way below freezing all the way down to the coast. So this is going to be really, really cold feeling outside as we get into Sunday nighttime period. And this is the overnight period. This will be when the actual temperatures get the lowest. Wind chills may actually relax just a little bit because the wind may die down a bit at that point. But you can see generally we have wind chills in the teens across the entire state by Monday morning. So again, going to be very cold, and you want to kind of take your precautions for that because it's going to be that kind of couple of days there. So looking at the northern half of Alabama, so the 7-day forecast here. So again, the next couple of days look pretty good. As we move past today, we get into Friday and Saturday, highs in the upper 50s in the northern half of the state, good bit of sunshine, a few passing clouds here and there. Again, we've pretty much, don't show any rain chances in the northern part of the state for Saturday and Sunday as this front starts to move through here. And then you can see, again, these are going to be the afternoon temperatures on Sunday. So falling through the 20s, the 30s generally over the course of the northern half of the state, and then getting down into the low teens in many spots. We could still see a single digit reading in some of the colder pockets of northeastern Alabama. So we'll be watching for that. Again, like we said, the wind chills will feel like single digits at times either way. And then we'll see another cold day on Monday with highs only in the 30s. And then we start to moderate as we head into Wednesday of next week. So showing a very small rain chance on Wednesday. Again, any sort of rain chance over the next week or so is going to be very meager. There's not hardly any moisture to work with here for the next week at least. Southern half of Alabama looking really nice as we move into tomorrow and into Saturday with highs in the 60s. And then again, as we hit Sunday, that's where things really start to get cold. You can see temperatures during the afternoon falling through the 40s, the 30s, eventually getting down into the low 20s for the actual temperatures as we get into Monday morning. Again, we'll have wind chills in the teens during that time period. And then again, Monday's pretty cold before Tuesday and Wednesday we start to moderate. That is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.